Hey guys, Sunny here. If you've seen my new profile picture and cover image on Facebook, you know that this is Invisible Disabilities Week. As someone who lives with invisible disabilities, I wanted to do something special to help educate others on what an invisible disability is and share some insights into what it's like living with one. So, I'm going to be making a short video every day this week, sharing my story. I'll give you a peek into my daily life, managing my conditions, share some tips and tricks that I've discovered along the way, and open up about some of the things that I've experienced because of my invisible disabilities. For this first video, I'll just tell you what my conditions are. I'm keeping this short, so it's up to you to Google these if you want to learn more. I was born with a rare birth defect called septo-optic dysplasia. This caused optic nerve hypoplasia, which made me totally blind in both peripherals, and panhypopituitarism, which means my pituitary gland doesn't function well enough on its own, so that causes some debilitating symptoms from time to time. And a secondary condition caused by that, known as secondary adrenal insufficiency, can be fatal in some circumstances. I'll elaborate more on each of these throughout the week, so keep an eye out for new videos. If you want to learn more about my conditions, you can visit my website, insomniadoodles.com, and to learn more about Invisible Disabilities Week, check out invisibledisabilities.org. It's Invisible Disabilities Week, so in celebration of that, I'm making a short video every day sharing what it's like to live with my invisible disabilities. Today I'm going to tell you about what I have to do to treat my pituitary disorder, panhypopituitarism. My pituitary gland doesn't function sufficiently enough on its own, so I have to replace all of the hormones necessary for survival in the form of pills 3 times a day and an injection once a night. It's kind of a pain in the butt to have to refill my pill boxes every week, so I've got 2 of each, so I only have to refill them once every 2 weeks. There's a life hack for you. I take hydrocortisone to treat my adrenal insufficiency, levothyroxine for hypothyroidism, and birth control because without the hormones in those pills, I would not have a monthly cycle, and estrogen and progesterone deficiencies can cause some really uncomfortable symptoms. I also take a growth hormone injection every night. Even adults need growth hormone because it helps with cell regrowth, muscle growth, fat distribution, organ health, and a bunch of other things. I also take a few supplements because my body doesn't metabolize some vitamins and minerals sufficiently from food. These are ordered by my doctors, but unfortunately aren't prescribed, so I have to pay for them out of pocket, which can get expensive. The medications I take are definitely the most important part of my care plan, but I also have to follow some healthy habits in order to maintain my overall health. This means eating a proper nutritious diet and exercising every day that I'm able to. Even if it's just a slow 15-minute walk, every bit of movement helps. I try to exercise twice a day, and I love working out with video games, such as the virtual reality exercise game known as Supernatural and the Nintendo Switch game Ring Fit Adventure. I deal with insomnia as a result of my conditions, so maintaining proper sleep is another important part of my care plan. I always put away screens at 9 p.m. and try to be in bed by 11, so that I'm giving myself about 9 hours of sleep opportunity each night. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for new videos every day this week. Visit invisibledisabilitiesweek.org to learn more about the awesome work they're doing to raise awareness. For day 3 of Invisible Disabilities Week, I want to talk about spoons. The concept of spoons as a symbol for energy was first introduced by Christine Miserandino on ButYouDon'tLookSick.com. Needing some kind of tangible symbol, she grabbed a handful of spoons and said, "This is your energy. You wake up each day with a random number of spoons. Some days you may wake up with no spoons at all. Simply getting out of bed takes a spoon. Other tasks might take 2 spoons. Even doing things you enjoy costs spoons. At some point, you're going to completely run out of spoons, so you have to make choices about what you're able to do, something most healthy people never even have to consider." Spoon theory became very popular among the chronic illness community, and many folks with chronic illnesses refer to themselves as spoonies. If you're a D&D nerd like me, you might relate more to the concept of spell slots as a way to explain energy management with a chronic illness. Spellcasters in D&D have a limited number of spell slots to control how many spells they can cast between rest periods, and once you've spent all your spell slots, you can't cast any more until you get sufficient rest. D&D is pretty relatable as someone with a chronic illness in other ways as well, because every day you're rolling the dice and you never know when it's going to be a crit. I like to use a calendar to track my daily energy levels so that I can monitor trends in the severity of my symptoms. I use different colored stickers to indicate my energy levels. Tracking it can provide useful insights for managing my conditions and helps me track how long flare-ups have lasted. Thanks for watching! I'm making a short video every day for Invisible Disabilities Week, so check back tomorrow for another one. Visit invisibledisabilitiesweek.org to learn more about their advocacy work. On March 29, 2019, a disability judge determined that I am unable to obtain gainful employment due to my disabilities. Wait a minute, you don't look disabled. You're not missing any body parts. None that you can see. You look healthy enough. I still can't wrap my brain around how you could possibly be disabled. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Not all disabilities are visible. There are a wide variety of invisible disabilities. Some are physical, others are not, but all have a truly measurable impact on a person's ability to function. In my case, I'm literally missing parts of my brain. My pituitary gland is underdeveloped and my optic nerve is deformed. Due to my pituitary issues, I experience intense, truly debilitating physical symptoms from time to time, and I never know when they're going to happen, but when they do, I have no choice but to lie down and rest. The fact that these flare-ups come out of nowhere and can last days or even weeks at a time makes me too unreliable as an employee, so gainful employment isn't possible for me. That's beside the fact that the majority of my time and energy are already dedicated to maintaining my health so that I can actually enjoy a comfortable life. So there is this stigma in our society that if you're disabled, you can't do anything at all, and that's not true. It's not totally binary. There are different levels of ability that everybody has. Some days I may be able to get out and enjoy nature like I'm doing today. It's fantastic. I'm totally grateful for the energy and the vitality that I'm feeling today. But there are other days where I can't even get out of bed, and that sucks, but it happens. And on the days when I'm able to get out and enjoy nature like I'm doing, and somebody sees me doing that, and then they hear that I'm disabled, they automatically assume that I'm lying, or I'm exaggerating, or whatever, I don't know. But the fact is, my disability is real. It is valid, even if you can't see it. For Invisible Disabilities Week, I'm recording a short video every day, so check back tomorrow for another one, and be sure to visit invisibledisabilitiesweek.org to learn more about their advocacy work.
Sunshine, here is your reminder. Take your meds.
I'm 31 years old, and I've been taking these pills since I was 13, and yet I still somehow manage to forget to take them without the help of reminders. I've got smart speakers all over my house, and they're set to remind me to take my meds on time. I even made a routine for my morning dose of meds that also helps me wake up and begin my day as an added bonus. For day 5 of Invisible Disabilities Week, I wanted to share some of the tools I use to make life with my conditions a little bit easier. I'm a bit of a neat freak, so it really gets to me when I'm not able to keep up with household chores because of my disability. So having a RoboVac that keeps the floors clean for me is a huge morale booster, and maintaining good mental health is just as important as the physical stuff. Get an Instant Pot. Just trust me, get one. You won't regret it. Exercise is a big part of my care plan, so I use a smartwatch to track my workouts when I'm able to do them. It also tracks my monthly cycle, which is very important considering abnormalities in my cycle is an indicator that my pituitary disorder is not being properly addressed. I originally started wearing a smartwatch because I needed to be able to track my heart rate due to tachycardia, and all of these added features have been really helpful, so I'm glad I got one. I wear it to bed every night to track my sleep so that I can see patterns in how my sleep quality and duration might be factoring into my symptom flare-ups. It also tracks my daily activity levels, which I can look back on to see trends that might indicate changes in my health. I can take a look at all the metadata from my smartwatch on my phone, and I even have my profile linked with my care provider so that I can access my immunization and lab records in the same app. I can't get a driver's license due to my eyesight, but I can get around town using an electric tricycle. I had a custom sign made for the back of it that gives drivers a heads up about my partial blindness if I'm out on the road. Thanks for watching! I'm making a short video every day for Invisible Disabilities Week, sharing my experiences living with my invisible disability, so check back tomorrow for another one. And visit invisibledisabilitiesweek.org to learn more about their awesome efforts to raise awareness. Discrimination against people with invisible disabilities comes in many forms. For day 6 of Invisible Disabilities Week, I want to share an incident that occurred back when I used to work at a grocery store before my health declined too much for me to continue working. When I was first hired, I made it very clear to management that my health might potentially fail me. I was open and upfront about my limitations, and they were so welcoming and understanding, and hired me despite the risk. Less than a year into my employment, however, my health started to decline. It was around that time when a new store manager arrived. She took notice of my work ethic and asked if I would consider taking on a management role. I was flattered by the suggestion and immediately said yes, without considering the fact that my health had been showing signs of declining. After a few days of deliberation, I went into work on one of my days off and asked to speak with her. I asked her if she had been told about my health condition, and she said no, so I opened up to her about my rare disease and explained how it impacts my health. After I was finished explaining my medical situation, I told her that my health had been showing signs of declining, and I didn't want to risk causing my department to fall behind if I had to miss work, so I decided that it would be best if she chose another employee for the management position. After I had finished speaking, she looked me straight in the eyes and said, "You know what I think? I think you don't want to do it." My blood somehow froze and boiled at the same time. I had been vulnerable and poured my heart out to this person, and that was her response. I don't know how I managed to keep my composure, but I calmly explained to her that she had misjudged me. I wish I could say that that was the end of her discrimination, but it actually got worse. I don't have enough time to explain it in this video, but you can read the whole story on my blog by visiting this link. That kind of blatant discrimination is very common, but it isn't always as obvious. It can come in the form of gaslighting, questioning the severity of unseen symptoms, or little remarks that may seem innocent on the surface, but can cut deep for someone struggling with their invisible disability. I'm making a short video every day this week for Invisible Disabilities Week, so be sure to check back tomorrow for another one, and visit invisibledisabilitiesweek.org for more information about their awesome advocacy work. For Day 7 of Invisible Disabilities Week, I wanted to talk about flare-ups. I debated whether or not to go into detail about my debilitating symptoms for a couple of reasons. For one, it's hard to describe how intense they really are, and secondly, it feels like describing them is an invitation for other people to compare my situation with others, or decide whether or not they think my symptoms sound debilitating. I assure you, they are, and no amount of disbelief is going to cure them. When I'm in the midst of a debilitating flare-up, I feel inexplicably exhausted. It feels like my body is coated in lead. Every movement feels heavy and slow. My muscles become weak, my hands shake slightly, and I start to fumble with whatever I'm holding. On top of the physical symptoms, I also experience brain fog, where my short-term memory is just shot, and I'm cognitively much slower than usual. I use the term thingamabob quite a bit in this state because I can't recall for the life of me what the heck that thingamabob is called. Oh right, fork. It's a fork. Frick. The severity of these flare-ups varies. Sometimes it's mild enough that I'm limited to sitting at my computer, where I can work on advocacy stuff or hobbies. Other times, I can't do much but lie in bed and try to help time pass more quickly by playing simple, relaxing games like Stardew Valley. Sometimes the brain fog that tends to accompany the flare-up is too intense for me to even enjoy doing that, so I usually just lay in bed and listen to a podcast when that happens. In particularly intense flares, I can also experience vertigo, which makes me very unsteady on my feet, causing me to have to lean on walls or furniture to steady myself when I walk, and the spinning sensation does not stop even when I'm lying down. I'm fully aware that these symptoms are invisible and vague, and that can make them hard to believe. I can't force you to believe me, and I know that there are some of you who will watch this video and think that I'm exaggerating or just making it up. That's frustrating, but it is what it is. I know the truth, and I'll keep speaking it regardless of your opinion, but I'll leave you with this question. What's worse, believing someone is disabled when they aren't, or accusing someone who is truly struggling with their invisible disability of lying about it? This is my last video for Invisible Disabilities Week. I recorded a video every day this week, and it's been a really fun project to work on. You can learn more about the awesome advocacy work the Invisible Disabilities Association is doing by visiting invisibledisabilities.org.